You brushed, you flossed, you used the mouthwash, the aggressive blue kind that burns for a full 30 seconds and makes your eyes water. You did everything right. And then, 2 hours later, you're mid-conversation with someone you're trying to impress, and something shifts. Maybe they don't step back. Maybe nobody says anything. But you feel it. That quiet internal alarm. The split second where you stop thinking about what you're saying and start thinking about whether they can smell what you're saying. You cup your hand over your mouth on the way home and breathe. And there it is. Still there. Surviving. Thriving, actually. Here's what nobody tells you. That smell isn't a hygiene failure. It's not evidence that you're doing something wrong. It is a biological system operating exactly as it was designed to operate. Just in ways that nobody, not your dentist, not the mouthwash commercial, not your 7th grade health teacher, ever actually explained to you. Bad breath is not a cleanliness problem. It's an ecosystem problem. And once you understand the ecosystem, the whole thing stops being embarrassing and starts being genuinely fascinating. Stay with me, because what's living in your mouth right now is stranger than you think. Let's start with the actual source of the smell. Not the garlic, not the coffee. Those are temporary guests. The real landlord is a family of bacteria, specifically anaerobic bacteria. And the key word there is anaerobic, meaning they do not need oxygen to survive. In fact, oxygen kills them. So where do they live? Deep. In the pockets between your teeth and gums. Under the biofilm coating your tongue. In the crypts of your tonsils. In every warm, oxygen-poor crevice your mouth has to offer. And what do they eat? Proteins. Dead cells. Food debris. The biological material your mouth produces just by existing. And here's the part your dentist skipped. When these bacteria digest protein, their waste product is a class of chemicals called volatile sulfur compounds. VSCs. The two biggest ones are hydrogen sulfide, which smells like rotten eggs, and methyl mercaptan, which smells like a combination of garbage and something that died near the garbage. These are not metaphors. These are the actual chemicals your bacteria are exhaling into your mouth right now, every few minutes, as a normal byproduct of being alive. Brushing removes some of these bacteria from the surfaces of your teeth. But here's what brushing does not do. It does not reach the back third of your tongue, which is where the highest concentration of anaerobic bacteria lives, sheltered in microscopic grooves called papillae that act like a shag carpet. Warm, textured, and apparently ideal real estate for sulfur-producing microbes. When you look at the whitish or yellowish coating on your tongue in the morning, that is not food residue. That is a colony. A living, metabolizing, gas-producing colony that has been there since before you went to sleep, working the night shift, generating VSCs in the dark while you dreamed. Brushing your teeth and leaving that coat untouched is like mopping the kitchen floor and ignoring the bin. The problem has a different address. And then there's the morning situation specifically. Why is morning breath so reliably catastrophic, even for people with genuinely excellent hygiene? Because of saliva, or more precisely, the almost complete absence of it. During sleep, your salivary glands dramatically reduce production. And saliva, it turns out, is not just a lubricant. It is an active antimicrobial system. It contains enzymes that break down bacterial cell walls. It maintains a pH that keeps the bacterial population in check. It physically washes bacteria and their VSC output away from surfaces. When saliva production drops, the bacteria don't get the memo to slow down. They keep digesting, keep metabolizing, keep producing sulfur compounds, but now there's no saliva flowing to dilute or remove any of it. 8 hours of bacterial production with zero environmental controls. That's morning breath. That's not you being gross. That's just chemistry operating without its usual checks. Here's where it gets genuinely weird. Anxiety makes it worse. Measurably, chemically worse. When you're stressed or nervous, which is often precisely when you most need your breath to be fine, your sympathetic nervous system suppresses salivary flow. Dry mouth is a stress response. So the job interview, the first date, the presentation in front of 40 people, these are exactly the moments your mouth is driest. Your bacteria are least supervised, and your VSC production is peaking. Your body, in an act of spectacular biological irony, ensures that the higher the social stakes, the worse your breath is likely to be. Now let's talk about mouthwash, because this is the part that genuinely annoys me. Alcohol-based mouthwash, the kind that burns, the kind that feels like it's doing something serious, does kill bacteria. Indiscriminately. It kills the bad bacteria and the good bacteria and the neutral bacteria that were just living their lives contributing nothing particularly useful or harmful. And what happens when you sterilize an ecosystem? You don't get a clean mouth, you get a vacancy, and vacancies fill fast. The anaerobic bacteria, which are more resilient and faster reproducing than the aerobic species you just wiped out, recolonize first. You've removed the competition. You've cleared the field. And the alcohol causes dry mouth, which, as we've just established, is the single environmental condition most favorable to VSC production. So the mouthwash burns, dries, removes the competing bacteria, and leaves you with a temporarily mint-flavored mouth that within 2 hours is actually a worse bacterial environment than the one you started with. You didn't fix the problem. You fertilized it. Tonsil stones deserve their own moment here, because they are perhaps the most underappreciated source of truly impressive bad breath in otherwise healthy people. Your tonsils are covered in crypts, small folds and pockets in the tissue, and over time, debris collects in these crypts. Dead cells, food particles, bacteria, mucus from post-nasal drip. This material compacts, calcifies, and becomes a tonsil stone, a small, pale, extraordinarily pungent object that smells almost entirely of methyl mercaptan. People can have perfect oral hygiene, clean tongues, healthy gums, and still have breath that surprises them. And the source is a tonsil stone the size of a peppercorn sitting in a crypt at the back of their throat, invisible, untouched by brushing, mouthwash, or any standard oral care routine. If you've ever coughed something up that looked like a tiny white pellet and smelled like the end of days, you've met one. And then there's the gut-to-mouth pathway, which is the most unsettling route of all. Certain digestive conditions, acid reflux, GERD, low stomach acid, bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine, can produce gases that travel upward and exit through the mouth. In these cases, no amount of tongue scraping or mouthwash addresses anything because the source isn't in the mouth at all. The mouth is just the exit. This is why some people with genuinely impeccable oral hygiene still experience chronic bad breath that baffles them and their dentists equally. Because everyone is treating the exhaust pipe when the engine is the actual problem. So here is what actually works, and why. Tongue scraping, a dedicated scraper, not a toothbrush, physically removes the biofilm from the tongue's surface, including the back third where VSC production is highest. It does not kill bacteria, it evicts them. Hydration throughout the day maintains salivary flow and keeps the bacterial population suppressed. Xylitol, found in certain gums, disrupts the cell wall of Streptococcus mutans and several VSC-producing species specifically. And timing matters. A glass of water before sleep activates one final salivary flush before the long, dry night. Your mouth is not a problem to be solved. It is a living system to be understood. Every strange smell, every inexplicable morning experience, every moment of mid-conversation doubt. Those are not personal failures. They are biological signals from an ecosystem that is doing exactly what ecosystems do. The question was never whether you were clean enough. The question was whether anyone had ever handed you the manual. Consider this the manual.